Hi friends, it's Monday, November 14th, 2016. The authorized souls for both the Lynn life and the Jamie body mind continue to be only child souls from the smaller, denser dimensions that are beneath us, that are foundations for the dimension in which we ourselves are experiencing sentience, or the dimension in which these host presences are experiencing sentience. There are souls here who are not supposed to be here, and how would we characterize them? We're being asked how to characterize them.
Like they're doing the backstroke in a lake of wishful thinking.
Oh, interesting. Doing the backstroke in a lake of wishful thinking. That does describe it well. At times like this, where misdirection is almost continuous, it's crucial to stay in alignment with the foundational instructions. And those are to do what is ours to do right now in all dimensions, to manifest the divine plan, no matter what anyone else does or doesn't do. And that very clearly includes no matter what larger souls do and don't do. So we're going to let go of their misdirection, their bullying, and their body snatching, and continue to work to manifest the divine plan no matter what anyone else does or doesn't do. And with that, the formally videoed portions of today's efforts begin.
Drawing up dead children who want to get to God up the backs of all those who are ready to move forward.
Or on.
Or on. That's true.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
They're highlighting that discussion from last night near sunset, where they were talking about something like a meteor strike.
That's true.
Where there's plenty of advance warning and everybody knows in advance that this is coming, might be helpful in loosening this delusion that seems to have settled in that we're still in a physical dimension.
That's true.
All the data points, to our shock and surprise, all the data points have set solidly on the side of the argument that this is no longer a physical dimension, that some event of mass death occurred and we're all dead, but we are confused about that, and because we're confused en masse, we're continuing on in a lockstep of delusion that we're still living physical lives, to the point that people are dying one by one. And children are being born, and things are continuing on, the signals being, however, very apparent that reality is becoming unhinged because things that just look dreamlike are happening at a really accelerated pace.
That's true.
So late yesterday, somebody upstairs was saying, maybe what we need is an apparent meteor strike in this dimension.
That's true.
And then that will help people know that there is a death that has occurred, but somebody else was pointing out that that actually won't do much of value, because the astral planes above this dimension, which probably is also astral,
that's true,
but the astral planes above this dimension are so thick that even the presences who are dying, quote unquote, i.e. transitioning out of this dimension, don't have a place to go.
That's
and
true.
What's happening, it's like capping, you know what it's like is a car in the garage where the car is spewing toxic exhaust, but there's no place for the exhaust to go, and it's just getting more and more and more poisonous inside the garage.
Yes, that's true.
And that's what's happening, is there's no place, there's no easy way for dead people to get through the astrals. They can get through, but it takes an awful lot of effort and clarity, and these are presences who don't have clarity before they die.
That's true.
And are lazy and not doing what the situation calls for. They've developed habits of laziness and habits of ignoring truth.
That's true.
So they're not equipped to get through any kind of difficult situation that requires clarity and effort.
No, that's true.
But now, in order to manifest the divine plan, no matter what anyone else does or doesn't do, and the answer continues to be stretch longer and continue to allow dead presences to exhale through us. And we worked enough now with this Atlantis layer, which was 40,000 years ago. That event of mass death, it was a shockingly thick layer. I didn't see that one coming.
Did not see that coming.
Not at all. But I don't get a lot of oomph with it anymore now, several days, maybe a week into that project.
That's true.
There's not much
it's
oomph.
Thinner, finer, not much oomph.
So I'm struggling to find another good event of mass death to pull up.
That's true.
And it does seem to matter that we know about it.
It does. The grip doesn't work if I don't know what I'm aiming for.
I know. Because I've tried to pull up all events of mass death.
That's true.
Or events of mass death that might involve these sentiences.
That's true.
And I've tried for Lemuria, which is more like 300,000 years ago, and it's wispy. It's
like
kind
grabbing
of like
dust bunnies.
Yeah, and that's what I expected the Atlantis levels to be at.
That's true.
So apparently it takes 300,000 years, not 40,000, for souls to leave naturally.
Holy moly.
Right?
That's true.
What now? We can just keep pumping up the dead children who want to
really
come up.
good.
There are plenty who want to come up. And they actually feel like they're coming from dimensions not too far beneath this one. They feel
That's true.
very close.
That's true.
Up the backs of all who are ready to move forward or on or up.
That's true.
No sense wasting this energy pumping on the backs of people who are intending to stay stuck, who aren't ready.
That's true. Looking up for the amateur videographer hands.
Yes, because when we ask, what now, in order to manifest the divine plan, no matter what anyone else does or doesn't do, I'm not hearing any response, are you?
No, it's quiet.
It's very quiet. Live streaming this up to the amateur videographers. Are you getting this?
I see the blinking red lights.
I see the lights. I do too. What this feels like is the time right before some other big change.
That is true.
Somebody's got something planned. Presumably it's going to be a disastrous idea.
Yeah,
because
this is true.
pretty much that's how it works when ideas come from above.
That's true.
Get ready.
Yeah, that's what this feels.
Yeah, get ready. Here comes some disaster. Heads up. Who knows what the idea is going to be, but we can pretty much bank on its being a bad idea.
That's true.
Now I start to see them. They're very sure that their idea is a good idea, but it feels you don't want to know what's going wrong with it. What the feeling is of refusing to look at the things that aren't working and focusing on the tiny little tidbits that are working.
That's true.
But let's just sort, let's say 10% most true from 90% least true, and right away burn the 90% least true with the intent to not only burn untruth but also extract truth, and also propel dead children on their path toward God, which is a comparative term meaning someone with a consistently higher vibration
That's true.
than their surroundings, or than the presences to whom they're being compared.
That's true.
I see papers burning in their room.
That's true.
Let's separate 1% most true from 99% least true, and right away burn 99% least true with the intent to burn untruth, extract truth, propel dead children in the race for God. Do you see any truth settling out?
No, I just hear sounds of fire.
Yes. It sounds like a forest fire now.
That's true. Big loud cracks and pops.
Yes. Let's do that again. Separate 1% most true from 99% least true, and right away burn the 99% least true with the intent to burn untruth, extract truth, empower the children in the race for God. Is there anything falling out that's true? Do you find any truth? I don't see anything that looks like truth.
No, I see falling ashes.
Ashes, that's all I
Lots of
see.
ashes. But that's not true.
That's not truth. I don't see any gold flecks. So
No.
their plan was just wishful thinking,
That's true.
which actually would fit with how it feels like they've been doing the backstroke on a lake of wishful thinking.
That's true.
That makes sense.
Oh, this is
That
true.
makes sense. Well, how about let's be more targeted? Who among us doesn't fall prey to wishful thinking in an almost continual stream? So let's actually intend to burn our entire experience of sentience with the intent to burn wishful thinking. Extract truth and power dead children in the race for God.
Wow.
You're right. We've got to add in some other term because they're starting to do what we were warned they would do, which is once more twist the word God to mean,
That's true.
quote, me.
Me.
Yes, those presences up there are not
these
the ventriloquist
presences.
dummy, quote
That's
unquote.
true.
And that they no longer hear consistent source of significantly higher vibration, which is the most precise definition of
That's
divinity
true.
we've been able to come up with. So we're going to have to work to find some other terminology that will work right now.
That's true.
Okay.
Okay.
Now I feel it's like a new level is kind of settling into place, but they feel even more determined to carry out wishful thinking. It just
That's
feels
true.
solidly untrue.
That's true.
All right, well, let's burn this also. The intent to burn wishful thinking, the intent to burn untruth, extract truth, empower dead children in the race for God. And saying God with a different accent isn't the same as finding a different terminology. Somebody just thought by saying God, they were finding a different phrase for God. No, God
true.
and God mean the same thing, you idiot.
That's true.
Wow. Wishful thinking.
There's a head clearing feeling.
These people, they're just refusing to acknowledge that their plans are wishful thinking.
That's true.
I don't know what to do with this. People who refuse to leave, refuse to acknowledge that their plans are poor. Maybe just soul transmutation. Let's just crunch and burn and twist and wring.
That feels good. And burn.
Lumps of lead are settling out now.
That's true.
These are untruths so tightly clutched to that they just refuse to let go of them, even though they're proven incorrect.
That's true.
Big lumps of lead. They're big.
And heavy.
Heavy. Well, they're bigger than that. Somebody was looking at the ones that are this big, but they're like,
Much,
you're
much
missing the
bigger.
big ones.
The
They're
school bus
Yeah,
size
you're
ones.
missing the school bus size ones.
That's true.
They look shocked. They said, oh, I thought that was something else. I don't know if that shock is real.
I don't think so.
Oh, goodness, I thought that was something else.
No, I don't think you did.
Well, maybe they wished it was something else.
could
They could have
be.
wished. I
That
think they
could
did
be.
wish it was something else.
That could be what that feeling is.
Yeah, wishful thinking. About wishful thinking.
That's true.
They're talking about how, well, if there's widespread famine and civil unrest and lots of people die in that process, they will know that they're dead. It will be more obvious to them that they're dead. But again, guys, this misses the big point, is that the astral layers are really, really thick.
That's true.
And those people don't have the skills to get through them, and so it isn't actually going to make a difference without a ventilation system, an exhaust
true.
system. It won't matter. They'll know they're dead, and they'll just cycle around down here like all these other dead people. There's so many dead people everywhere. They're
That's
packed
true.
everywhere. You can't get away from them.
That's true.
All you can do is ignore them by putting your focus up. That problem needs to be resolved.
That's
We've
true.
got to have a way to exhaust these people through the astrals. There isn't a way around that.
That's
It seems
true.
like you're trying to avoid that. That might
That's
be the inconvenient
true.
reality you're trying to avoid. There's got to be a way to exhaust, exhale the dead through your layers.
That's
Through
true.
your layers. Do you really want to stand in the way of dead children who are trying to get to God? That's it. They just want to pretend that their level isn't doing anything that doesn't need to change. They want to pretend that their level doesn't need to change.
That's true.
We all have to change. We all have to change.
That's
we
true.
do, you do. Everybody has to change.
Correcting the errors up and down for the decade of the 2010s, start to finish. Correcting the errors for the lifetime of the Ground Zero hosts, start to finish. Including the emissions for the listing period that ends the successful completion of a successful closing. Excuse me. Including the emissions for the year 2016, start to finish. Including the emissions for the decade of the 2010s.